I'm Chelsea Powery with Castanet News, and welcome to our Meet the Candidates videos. I'm here with Anna Paddon. She is running independently in the Penticton-Summerland riding. Anna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Well, I'd love to start with just a real brief question of who is Anna Paddon, 20 seconds-ish. Who are you? What would you like the voters to know about you?
Well, I'm Anna Paddon. I have lived in BC for over half my life. I worked in Lillooet as a substitute teacher in the secondary school. I worked at School District 44 in North Vancouver as an EA. I was also a language assistant, where I worked in English and French, assisted with math. I introduced a computer course to the English Frenches between kindergarten and grade 4, where they scrolled their name in Apple Basic.
Oh, fantastic. And so you are running in Penticton-Summerland, where you now live. And what do you think is the most important, or one of the most important issues that is facing this riding? And if you were elected as MLA, how would you tackle that?
Well, I think a very important issue is housing and homelessness. We have to really address taking care of not only seniors and families, but the homeless community. I really don't agree with locking them up. I would like to, if I was elected, ensure that we had more. It's like the housing first, only it's a no questions asked. Housing first, you get the person, you say, would you like to come, like they have done in Edmonton, and you get them integrated into a housing community where they also take part voluntarily on their own to return to the community.
Okay. And you're running independently. There's a lot of people wonder whether independent candidates can get anything done when they go to the legislature. So what's your response when you hear that, like, oh, you need the backing of a party kind of thing?
Well, as an independent, I can get the backing of every party for an issue that is important to them, but is an issue that we want to have put through as a law or financing for our community. There's a woman, an MLA, Vicki Huntington, and I've been quoting her lately because I aspire to be like her. She's an independent. She said that BC is like a dinosaur, and that the political parties in the legislature, their whips really do enforce the rule of law for whatever political party that they are. And we all know that some people who were in a political party and their constituents said, no, we want this, and they truly did not believe in an issue, then ran as independents. They became independents and had to sit in the legislature outside of the party that they were in. So I believe in being an independent, and once in the legislature and in the community, we can work together.
And you're new to politics for the most part, I understand?
I've ran 2 other times in the Nanaimo North Couch.
But not, sorry, if you were elected, it would be your first time elected, is that correct?
Yes, that would be my first time as an elected official.
Wonderful. And so then if you were elected, you're jumping right into the MLA position and into Victoria. How would you tackle the challenge of being a first-time elected politician right there in Victoria?
Well, the good thing about that, whether you're an MLA or an MP, they have the civic, blue-collar workers, the federal workers, provincial, they have everything laid out. If you go to the BC Legislature's website, new MLAs information and what they will do when they're there is written down as if you were taking a kindergarten or grade 1 course. It's all there online, and when you're there, the people that are at the legislature that are not elected officials, but elected officials, they help you. I've been to the legislature, many times. I was there for the farming and agriculture issue. I was there supporting the loggers and the value added from BC, the province of BC, and the issue about export taxes.
All right. And so turning now to a couple of local issues, hyper-local. So Summerland has recently seen a lot of pushback to the Garnet Valley gravel pit mine. A lot of people have raised concerns about this current government's approval of that mine. Where do you stand on that? And if you were elected MLA, would you push back against that or say that that mine can go forward?
Well, we have two gravel pits, open gravel pits, one in Penticton and a large one in Summerland, and then outside of Peachland. And our resources are important, and gravel is a resource for construction, highway improvement, or if we wanted to put in a bridge, or if we wanted to put in a fixed crossing between Vancouver and Vancouver Island, we need the gravel. As far as what is happening in Summerland, it has really been debated that the person that had been in government said, yes, we will look at that, and there is no way that other people can just come in if they were elected to say no. And then on the other side, I was in between with a couple of other independents. The other person said that, oh yes, we will do this and we will get it out. So I think that if the people in Summerland don't want it there are other locations. Why not find something that is feasible for everyone?
So you would be opposed potentially if you were elected to MLA, like if you were go to Victoria and you say, do you say, you know what, we got to change this?
I would if it's inappropriate and it is in the wrong area. I have not driven out to see where that particular gravel pit is or where they're planning for that location, but I would certainly represent Summerland on that issue. They don't want it, and they live there.
And another big issue right here in Penticton, in Summerland, all around British Columbia, is access to primary care from physicians. So having that family doctor. So how would you, if you were elected MLA, tackle that to make sure that everyone in this riding has access to primary care, access to that family doctor?
Well, I'll do what I've been doing all along. I lived in Lillooet, and I was the head housekeeper in the evenings for the whole Lillooet Hospital. That was the bottom floor and the top. So I did operating rooms or beds when we had no doctors. And the doctors, that was either their day off or they happened to be out of town because of something and an issue came up and there was no doctor. And we've had young little meningitis patients sitting in front of the RN's office. So it was very important. So what I did was I went to the physicians themselves. And I asked, and I went online to the website that represents the physicians. And I saw what it is they wanted, which was they needed paid days off. They needed coverage for their days off. They needed to have equipment where when they're at work, they can complete the jobs that they are doing. And they also needed to have other family and professionals within the community. So at that time, I advocated for going outside of our country and also for educating more doctors, both provincially and federally.
Fantastic. And then so another issue here, housing, affordability, housing stock. You already mentioned it earlier. This current government has pushed for more housing stock by requiring municipalities to increase zoning densities and also by restricting Airbnb-style short-term rentals.
Yes.
Do you think that's the right approach to making sure that there's more housing available for a more long-term rental or owner? Or if not, what do you think is the right response to this?
I spoke with a lady in Summerland, and I understand her issue, and I would try to work that out. But I believe in the vacancy tax, and I do believe in limiting the B&Bs that, you know, you get it into your head, I can rent it for this, and you watch Scott McGilvery telling them, never mind $1,500. Now that we fixed it up, you can get $5,000 a day. So we can't afford it. So I have many pages here of how we can ensure that we have housing that is both for families, seniors, and the homeless. And whenever I see a property, the one across from the hospital, I recommended that it not just be multi-family, but a mixed resource, so that on the one side you had a building that would help the homeless, and then seniors and the families, so that it was a multi-community complex.
So you're looking to, so you mentioned multiple pages, and we can't obviously get into all of the pages, but can you give me some Cliff's Notes of what your housing proposal is?
Sure, excuse me. Promote diverse housing options and encourage the development of various housing types. So that's what I covered. Incentives for developers. I really truly believe that it's important. I spoke to the people who were just purchasing the property where the cabins were across from Housing for Humanities. And I said, yes, and make sure, I listed both the federal and the provincial money that they can get for the multi-family housing that they can put in. They're a very nice couple. I was so happy that they were there, so I would be doing that. Meeting people and
so it's just, in your opinion, the provincial government's place in housing, I suppose, just a broad strokes, what do you think the provincial government's role is in this riding in making sure that there are housing options?
We have funding that is from our own tax dollars, whether it was from the carbon tax, whether that was to go to highways or housing or, reallocated. We have school taxes and housing that have been asked for by our provincial government when people wanted to build and develop. It was an extra tax that they put in, and that will support housing for this area. I believe that it is an issue not only for ourselves, not only for our local city hall, but it is an issue for the provincial government and the federal government, that all the citizens in our country and in our province, in our neighborhood, have a house, have a home.
And you mentioned the carbon tax. Speaking of climate change, that kind of thing, do you support the the carbon tax? Do you support efforts towards greener
economy?
Yeah.
I am a York University student at present, and I have over 420 credits, and I'm in 2 honors courses. One is geography, and part of that geography is carbon offsets, renewable energy, the life of a city, and how to build a city. And I have to say that Summerland and Penticton are cities that I quoted as really working towards that. No, I support the carbon tax. And if we didn't have the carbon tax here, we would have to pay, like other provinces or the territories, for the extra directly to the federal government. This way, we are paying the carbon tax. It's a little bit lower because we're doing it on our own provincially through the provincial government, and we're taking part in keeping the air clean. The carbon's in the air. Although sometimes we don't see them, they are hurting our lungs and our children's.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here because this has been a great discussion. But I just want to finally say that we don't know necessarily, of course, what is going to happen on October 19th, whether it's a majority or a minority government, who knows. As an independent, if you were elected, you would be in the unique position of being able to vote with anyone on any specific issue. Are there specific issues that are close to your heart that you would vote with any party, regardless of?
Housing and development here in Penticton, renewable energy, ensuring that we have education that helps our elementary. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it is part of both elementary and secondary school students who can take part in renewable sustainable energies. And the schools, there is a public-private school global initiative presented by the students for the students themselves to take part in renewable, sustainable energy for their school. And you put it on your roof or beside it also, and you generate electricity, and then you sell the rest. So I would definitely vote for that and ensure that our community is moving forward and that our schools and our students are taking part in what is going to be needed for the future.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Anna. I'm Chelsea Powery with Castanet News. Click to Castanet if you would like more candidate profiles for the Penticton-Summerland riding. Anna, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.